I am here to show you how to use the select and mask tools. So let's get started. So I've got this image of a flower, and what I want to do is come in here and be able to manipulate the center of the flower, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of my background. Always make a copy, okay? And now I'm going to click over here on this right below the move tool, this little square here, the little selection tool. I'm going to click it, and up here select and mask is going to show up, so I'm going to click on that. Okay, so automatically my overlay, I get an overlay. You can change this depending on your image. Sometimes it's a little easier to see, like maybe if it were white or black, but I'm going to go with the red because it's the easiest for me to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, using the tool over here, the brush tool, okay, I'm going to start painting the center of my flower, okay? So I'm just going really slowly. Basically what you're doing here is you're painting what you want to be able to manipulate, okay? Now I remember I told you guys yesterday you can use your bracket tool on your keyboard to make the brush larger or smaller, okay? Which is really nice when you're working like this because you can kind of go back and forth very quickly and do more like subtle stuff with a smaller brush and do big areas with a bigger brush. So take your time with this, okay? Now, let's say I did something like, whoa, oh my goodness, I did not mean to do that, okay? Hold the Alt key and then click and just paint it right back out, okay? So if you make a mistake, you can just go back in and repaint it if you click Alt, okay? All right, now, sorry, my computer's running a little slow. I gotta clean it up a little bit. All right, so I'm doing this pretty quickly just to kind of show you how this is done. But take your time with this, you know, really get it nice and get the edges nice and clean, okay? And you can use this over here to zoom in, all right, if you need to. Now I'm going to come over and feather this just a little bit, just because this edge is a little sharp. So I'm going to come to feather. Now if I do it a lot, it basically gets rid of it. I don't want to do that. So I generally feather it just like not even, like barely, just a little bit, okay? Just going to take the harshness off of that, okay? Now, come down here to output, all right? So it generally outputs to, it will default to layer mask normally, but we don't want that, okay? I want to output to a selection, all right? Press OK. And now you see I have the marching ants where I have painted out, okay? So now I can go into adjustments and I'm going to go to hue and saturation, okay? Okay, and I can go in and kind of change the color of the center. Now you see I didn't do the best job. I still have some of this yellow left behind. So that's why you really need to take your time. But again, I'm just doing this quickly just to show you guys. So I can really manipulate the color here. I can change the saturation. Okay. So play around with this. All right. Let's say I want to make it crazy. I'm going to make it like a blue. Bump the saturation down just a little bit. Okay. And that's how that's done, okay? Now, go back to Select and Mask. All right. Actually, you know what? Cancel. I'm going to get rid of this. So I showed you how to change the color, all right? Now we're going to go back to Select and Mask, all right? Now, sometimes it'll save your selection, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't really know why. I'm going to look into that and see how I can figure that out. But that's okay. I don't mind like painting this out again. No big deal. Okay. So I'm painting this again. I'm going to use my bracket tool to make my brush a little bigger. All right, so I'm painting this out. Again, just doing this really quickly so you can see, you know, take your time with this. Okay, I'm going to feather it just a smidge. And now I'm going to come down to output settings, and this time instead of outputting to a selection, I am going to output to a new layer. Okay, press OK. And now look, I've got this new layer. And so what I painted out with the Select and Mask tool is now on its own layer, okay? So that's going to allow us to really work with this on its own. I can move it around, I can add things to it. So what I'm going to do, actually, I found this cool Kate Spade ad, and I'm going to make a copy of this using my Move tool. I'm going to move it over here and drop it on top of the flower. And I want to clip this to the center of the flower, okay? So I'm going to go to Layer, Create Clipping Mask. Okay, and there you go. It clipped to it. Now I've still got some play. All right, I can come in and move it over. I could even put her face in the center, which would be super weird. Maybe we should do that. Let's see what that looks like. Oh man, that's crazy looking, okay? So that's one thing you can do, okay? You can also add patterns into this, okay? And we talked about how to do that. You can fill the layer, or you can even just put a pattern, a JPEG of your pattern, and then clip it onto that. So I hope this is helpful, all right? Email me if you have questions, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.